Hi, welcome to the Retirement Railroad Matinee Modeling Tip of the Day. I'm Steve, and today we're continuing with the Aurora build, part 10.5. All right, let's take a look at where we left off at the end of part 10.4. Okay, the top picture shows it right there in the center, the Milwaukee Brewery as we left it. And as I mentioned in part 10.5, mistakes were made. I wasn't happy with it because I didn't prime that center panel, which is a new panel, to accommodate the truncation. And so I just wasn't happy. I could have blended and probably made it work. But sometimes it's better just to back up and redo things. And so that's what I did in the lower picture there. And let's get a closer up view side by side so you can compare them. And I just went through and put a matte finish over all of it. Okay? And I used a rattle can instead of my airbrush for this so that I could get a better coating throughout the model, front, back, and sides. All right, so that's where we stand now. Now, let's go and look at what we're going to do in this 10.5. All right, and here we are at the bench, and you can see all the intricate detail on this. You've got a stone foundation. You've got all of these cornice works to do, and what I will do is I will use a very light gray and come in and highlight all of this cornice work, even around the arched bricks. And we'll get that all done before we add the window framing. Okay? And if we look at the other side, I did add some cornice work to these 4 windows. I added brick columns to match. All right, and I added this brick facade where the roof line is to match over on the side. And you may have noticed in the side-by-side picture, the chimney is also, which goes right here. I'll have to cut a hole in the roof panel for the wiring because the chimney will get a smoke unit and a blinking red light. Okay. Now, I did go back and I puttied in all the gaps to fill those, the insides of the corners, all to help prevent light bleed. And this roof piece falls flattens out because it is not attached yet. Okay. And so that's what we're going to work on next. So stay tuned. So now that we have our base coat redone and evened out, all right, it's a good starting place, but it's by far from finished. I like to be able to see the difference between the mortar and the brick. And previously I've used a light gray wash, almost a white, over it. But I saw Rick Bailey from Fultz Bailey Railroad, I'll put the link to his channel, use some caulk, some white paintable caulk. So I'm going to give that a try on a small piece to begin with and see what it looks like. This piece here is the inside brick facade at the top of the tower. And this piece in particular won't be visible to the ordinary spectators. So I'm going to try this Quick Seal white paintable caulk rubbed in and see how that works out. And hopefully it works as well for me as it did for Rick Bailey. aka the tree, for those that know him. Alright, so I'm just going to try dabbing a little bit on my finger, because this piece isn't very big. And then I'm just going to rub it in, and this is probably way too much. Rub it in, and see what we end up with. Looks good so far, like it's going to do the trick as advertised. I should probably get a wet sponge. To get rid of all the excess. I started with that little bit I did was too much. That's why I started on this small piece here. And I'll be right back. I'm going to go get some water. Stay tuned. Alright, I got my water. It does fill in the grout lines pretty well. And I mean, this is an intricate little piece, so most pure brick panels wouldn't be, wouldn't have to be as finicky with. I think it does a real good trick. I think I'm going to keep going with that. Alright, so stay tuned. Yeah, I think a wet fingertip, applying it works real well. Just spread it a little bit like this. Dip my finger. So I went ahead with the latex caulk and did this panel. It worked great. The only problem is even watered down latex caulk is such that you get buildups in any of these corner pieces. And because this kit has so many intricate brick details, I elected not to use the latex paintable white caulk and went back to my wash, my latex watered down white light gray wash for the rest of it. And what I've started to do, and you can see it slightly on this panel, is I've started to dry brush on some variances in the brick color. Okay. Now, the original that I'm working with, the first one is the classic caramel. But I will also do some warm buff and some toasted marshmallow. So that should give us some variations to the brick. Now, you know, on previous models, I've tried to go in and paint individual bricks to give some variances of color, which, you know, unless you get up close, you don't notice it. But by just dry brushing areas in the different colors, you start to begin to see the variation in brick. So, and that's typically what you would see in real life. Okay? So that's the way I'm proceeding with this. I've got this panel done, which is the panel that goes back here on the tower, and I've already gone in and done the chimney. Okay? For the one color. Let's do the one color for this, and then we'll switch colors and keep on going. So stay tuned. All right, so I've finished with the first color. You can see the variations in the brickwork. Okay. Now it's time for the second color. Stay tuned. All right, so I got all the variations to the brick in place. The last thing to paint before we add our window framing is all the cornice and windowsill detail. All right, so let's get after that. I'll be using the white paint pen to do the fine stuff, and the bigger areas here and such, I'll be using simply some very light gray paint. All right, so let's get after it. So we've not only fixed up and matched up the colors and put a nice base coat down, we've gone ahead and done the detailing on the brewery as far as painting goes. So let's take a look at that. Okay. And here you go. This is a very ornate building. This is the panel from the back side of the tower. And you can see how we've done a lot of the detail painting. You'll notice that there's some variance in colors to the brickwork. And on the base, stonework to the foundation. Flip it over, you'll see a lot more of what I'm talking about as far as being ornate. Very architecturally decorative. Okay. With that, that concludes part 10.5 for building the brewery. And we fixed our mistakes. We've gone ahead and done a lot of the detailed painting. The next thing in point 10.6, we'll be doing the windows, frames, the wash, and some weathering. Okay? So with that, I want to thank you for joining me here at the Retirement Railroad Matinee Modeling Tip of the Day. I'm Steve, and y'all have a great day. Bye now.